Isn't that part so fun? I love the bow, 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 like really punctuating his words.
Hello everyone, welcome back to CF Reacts. My name is Casper Fox. I've been a brand manager for 6 years, going on my 7th year. I'm back with the wonderful Mortius, who is introducing me to a musical named Alexander Hamilton. I don't know if you've heard about it. I sure hadn't. Mortius was very at me that I had not listened to it. And now that we're on my channel, I can say that it is fucking awesome so far. So that's really great. We just listened to Alexander Hamilton.
Yes,
and
we did.
What was the other one?
Aaron Burr, sir.
Oh, yes. And now we're going into My Shot, which, fun fact, there is a voice play cover. It's like 10 years old or something like that.
It's pretty old by this point.
I'm so old now.
I have listened to that, so I actually know the song coming out, but I've never heard the original because I did not know it's from Hamilton.
And like, how well do you remember? Like, have you re-listened to it recently? Like, how well do you remember it?
The only thing I remember is Jeff has like the "When are these colonies gonna rise up?"
Oh, that's a cool lyric, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the only thing I remember.
Okay. You know what's fun? I actually haven't seen Voice Plays My Shot.
Oh, well then.
So maybe I'll do that on a... Yeah, we're opposites, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check that out on my channel. But yeah, go ahead.
I just want to mention that obviously, just like with the wonderful Epic the Musical, I am actually putting a unedited / early access versions for Alexander Hamilton on the Patreon. I've been keeping that and probably will be keeping that on my Patreon because you guys have been so insanely supportive and so great with these. So we're going to keep doing that. So if you are watching this, there is a big chance that there are a ton of unedited and early access videos both on Mortius' channel but also on my channel. The next part of Hamilton might be out. You're gonna have to look in the comments or on the Patreon for that. But yeah, that is for the brand enthusiast tier and for Mortius' second tier, I believe.
Well, I might actually be adjusting that a little bit, so I don't want to announce it right now.
No,
I might have slightly different ways I'm approaching it for the ones we do together. So I'm still working on finagling those touches.
Gotcha. That
but it will be on my Patreon for sure at some level, either the deity tier or one of the very similar ones.
Dope. All right. Well, without further ado, let's jump into My Shot.
Yes, I took it back a little bit so that we get the transition, because a lot of these songs very much transition from one to the other. So this reaction is actually going to start with like the last 10 seconds of Aaron Burr, sir.
Gotcha.
Hey yo, I'm just like my country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I'm gonna get a scholarship to King's College. I probably shouldn't brag, but dad, I amaze and astonish. The problem is I got a lot of brain.
Isn't that part so fun? God. I love the bow, 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 like really punctuating his words.
That's such like old school hip hop, like especially yeah. Okay. Wow, Alexander, Lynn is really getting up there in his vocal. That's like really hard. Yeah, I love the sudden change. So I love that. I think it's really fun because, again, the aspect of rap is brought forward here because they have just given, like, what I'm almost imagining that just before an Aaron Burr, we saw a bit of it here to start with. I don't know if that's in the video or not, but whatever. From the last part of Aaron Burr, they're all introducing themselves, which I'm seeing like, okay, this is a freestyle rap free-for-all thing going around. Like, everyone gets the verse, and then they invite him in, and then he gets it, like, spread some knowledge, like, okay, give a lecture, but you need to give it in the style of a freestyle rap battle almost, right? And he goes in, and then because he doesn't want to say anything, because he want to be fully Switzerland and be very neutral.
That's exactly
gets booed, you know? Like, yeah, okay, that's really cool. That's a cool, like, smart double meaning approach.
Yes,
to, you know, that's really cool.
I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just like my country, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I'm gonna get a scholarship to King's College. I probably shouldn't brag, but dad, I amaze and astonish. The problem is I got a lot of brains, but no polish. I gotta holler just to be heard with every word. I drop knowledge, I'm a diamond in the rough.
I know.
My goal, my power of speech, unimpeachable. Only 19, but my mind is older. These New York City streets get cold. I shoulder every burden.
Oh yeah, that is one thing that's important to mention is he's 19 right now. Can you tell?
No. but you know,
it's an aspect of stage production that you kind of just have to be aware of.
Yeah.
We talked about this in Warrior of the Mind.
Yes.
And that's where like animatics almost have a benefit over stage production is you
Yeah.
can kind
Well,
of,
because-
when the visuals bring it down, even if the voice is the same,
Yeah.
it's easy to kind of suspend disbelief a little bit more.
Yeah, I am very glad that I don't need prior knowledge to like so far right now. As I said, I don't know much about American history
Yeah.
or American Revolutionary War, anything like that.
Which is fine.
But
I've
right
already
now,
gotten flamed for how little I know English history in my 6th musical
Yeah,
reactions.
Fair. So, but the good thing to me is I still feel like I can keep up. You know, like there's not a lot of like because I was feeling a little bit with Epic. Like for example, I thought Lil Ajax was a kid. That's why he was called Lil Ajax. So when I was at my animatic stream the other day, I was like, because one of the animatics actually animated him as a kid, and I was like, okay, well, why did they bring a kid to war? And they were like, he's not a kid. It's like, what do you mean he's not a kid? So
He's
it's
right
nice
there.
that-
He's a
that-
kid.
Yeah, it's nice that Hamilton says I'm 19.
Spelling
as in
it
we
out
have
for
that.
you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, cool. Because and this show spans a long time. Like the part of the reason that Aaron Burser started with that 1776, you're gonna
Yeah.
find that as a recurring motif. Whenever there's a
Yeah.
time skip, the song's gonna start with like a new year, so you can kind of keep track of how we're
Yeah.
passing time.
Love the lyric "young." I'm just like my country, young, scrappy, and hungry. That's
Isn't that
really
so
cool.
good?
Yeah.
That's so good. That like almost makes me happy to be American.
Yeah. And also what I think, what I'm starting to feel like why people are able to connect is because obviously a lot of musical theater kids are obviously connecting with this because
Yes.
it's so far so like I don't know because I haven't seen it yet, but it's probably a really good musical.
Yes.
Right? But also because the without any disrespect, so far the songs are very singable. As in, like, you don't need to be this Broadway fantastic tenor to be able to belt these out. You know,
100%.
everyone can kind of come in. You know, I like
There's a
that.
couple
It's very
songs.
inclusive.
There's a couple songs,
Yeah, fair.
especially by. I'm sure you've noticed that Aaron Burr's got like that pretty strong voice. A couple of
Yes.
Aaron Burr's solos are a challenge to sing, but for the most part,
Yeah.
you're definitely right. Especially any of Alexander Hamilton's are very like the challenge is more the speed at which you can sing than like any
Yeah.
kind of actual like. That's like whenever you have someone who's like, oh, I can sing this. You're not like marveling at their like vocal quality. You're like marveling at someone coming out. I'm taking this horse by the reins, making raincoats. Not to spoil, but you probably couldn't understand those
Something
lyrics
with
anyway.
raincoats.
Yep,
You
something with the
spoiled that it's raining
raincoats.
in America.
That's gonna be so funny in like 10 songs. Anyways,
Oh no, not again.
let's
it's the
take it
whole-
back. It's doing its best.
But my mind is older. These New York City streets get cold. I shoulder every burden, every disadvantage I've learned to manage. I don't have a gun to brandish. I walk these streets famished. The plan is to fan this spark into a flame. But damn, it's getting dark, so let me spell out the name. I am the A-L-E-X-A-N-D-E-R.
Ooh.
A colony that runs
I know, right?
independently, while Britain keeps shitting on us endlessly. Essentially, they tax us relentlessly. Then King George turns around, runs a spending spree. He ain't never gonna set his descendants free, so there will be a revolution in this century. Enter me.
He says in parentheses.
Don't be shy.
So you can kind of see
Okay.
that ego as he's talking about like there will be like
Yeah.
this is happening. This is the king. There will be a revolution, and here I am.
Hello there.
Like I love the enter me. He says in parentheses. Like they're
In
all calling out.
parentheses.
They're all calling out like oh like he's just gonna really quick like toss in there that he's gonna be the big man of this war. But it fits really well for what we've seen so far. He literally is like
Yeah.
craving a war so that he can prove he's something. And now he's talking about how the revolution is coming. Enter me.
He says in parentheses.
Don't be shocked when your history book mentions me. I will lay down my life if it sets us free. Eventually, you'll see my ascendancy. And I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey, yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry. And I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey, yo, yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. It's time to take a shot.
I dream of life without a monarchy. The unrest in France will lead to anarchy. Anarchy, how you say? Anarchy. When I fight, I make the other side panicky.
Oh my god.
Yo, I'm a tailor's apprentice, and I got John knuckleheads and local parentis. I'm joining the rebellion, cause I know it's my chance to socially advance. Instead, it's always to pass it, don't take it.
But we'll never be truly free until those in bondage have the same rights as you and me. You and I do or die. Wait till I sally in on a stallion with the first black battalion ever.
Before we
Damn
get to the
right.
next part, isn't all that great?
Everything sounds good so far. Well, I mean,
I
can
love these
so
character
relate.
introductions. They're so good.
I can so relate to the French guy when like you're looking for the word and you can't figure it out.
Yeah, that's happened to us. Yes, I've noticed it a couple times. Yeah, I love that. Anarchy, how you anarchy, and the way he really like American, like how you say anarchy. When I fight, I make the other. It's so good. It just goes right back into it. It's really good.
It's cool. I love that. Yeah, and I also think like this I like and this is because I don't know. It's nice like if they don't know how these characters met, and this is a artistic freedom they've taken that they all met in a bar. I think that fits well with not taking away my shot. Like I like that because like that
Right?
you know that don't mean
And there's
yeah.
I'm not throwing away my shot. Let's have another shot. There's multiple every time it drops a shot, it's a different have another
Yeah.
shot. And then up next you'll see one other definition of it. Like it's really, really good.
I feel like there's a lot of double meaning words
Yes.
in this musical.
There's a
But so
reason
far
I said there's a
lot.
lot of lyricism. There's
Yeah.
for sure. Here we go.
Wait till I sally in on a stallion with the first black battalion ever. Another shot.
Geniuses, lower your voices. You keep out of trouble and you double your choices. I'm with you, but the situation is fraught. You've got to be carefully taught. If you talk, you're gonna get shot.
Check what we got. Mr. Lafayette, hard rock like Lancelot. I think your pants look hot. Lorenz, I like you a lot. It's hot your plot, blacker than the kettle calling the pot. What are the odds the gods would put us all in one spot? Hop in a squad and conventional wisdom, like it or not. A bunch of revolutionary manumission abolitionists. Give me a position, show me where the ammunition is.
Ooh, okay, so
Right,
it switches
a
to
bunch
his
of-
inside voice
A bunch
here.
of revolutionary manumission wait. A bunch of I'm not even remembering, but just that is
Yeah.
so good.
Dude.
I lost my own
like,
lyrics
it's-
there for a moment, but
Like I'm kind of like I'm kind of. Do you know that mean like I like your funny words, Magic Man? That's kind of how I feel with him. That's how I'm
oh,
feeling
just
right now.
wait until you get to Guns and Ships. You're gonna love those funny words, Magic Man. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Oh, I'm so excited to take you through this whole thing. All right.
Genius is lower your voice.
Yes, you keep out of trouble, you double your choices.
Double your choices.
And so,
Glory
and that
hunter.
whole thing, how I was telling you as well, like how he's not actually necessarily neutral, the way he's like, I'm with you, but the situation is fraught. Like, it's important to say he's not someone who views himself as neutral. He is, Burr is still a revolutionary. He just doesn't want to be loud about it until he knows he can be without getting himself in trouble. He's
Yes.
not willing to take the risks. He's only willing to wait for it.
Is.
I'm keeping
Yeah.
it.
Oh, am I talking too
Yeah.
loud? Sometimes I get overexcited, shoot off at the mouth. I never had a group of friends before. I promise that I'll make y'all proud.
Let's get this guy in front of a crowd.
Oh. How about the way that they are transitioning the set in the choreography? Like the way they're taking
smart.
away those things as a part of the choreography is so good. I
Yeah.
am now realizing a slight problem. I'm going to need to pull up the lyrics in advance in the future
Okay.
because these songs flow so well together that I'm actually genuinely not remembering where this song ends and the next song begins.
Okay.
So if you have any thoughts,
fair.
please share them, and I'm literally going to look up the lyrics to see where the song
Okay.
ends.
Yeah. So fantastic that it switches to this little inside voice for Alexander Hamilton,
Yes.
and then John comes in after and then because he's like, oh, what if I'm speaking too loud? Maybe maybe I should listen to Aaron Burr. And then John comes like, no, let's get this guy in front of a crowd, and then everyone sings in solidarity. And now it seems like we're going into maybe they're rallying on the streets because they're moving into what I think is a choir response with this whoa whoa whoa. So everybody's saying whoa whoa whoa, and then crowd response whoa 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 this because we saw so much call and response in Epic as well. For example, in like the very first song, The Horse and the Infant, there was a lot of it in the beginning. Yeah, damn.
This is going to be a long video. We are there is so much left of this song. I was like, wait, is this whoa, whoa, whoa when it transitions to the next song? No, we're like 2/3 of the way through this song. There's
Good.
so much song left. All right, everybody sing. Oh, okay.
So let 'em hear ya. Let's go. I said, shout it to the rooftop. Sit to the rooftop. Come on, let's go. Rise up when you're living on your knees. You rise up. Tell your brother that he's gotta rise up. Tell your sister that she's gotta rise up. When I these gotta knees,
And here's that one part you knew. That whole part's really cool, huh?
That is so dope. And then we go back into this inside voice right
Ah,
after.
I was hoping that I paused fast enough that you wouldn't have seen that because I wanted to get that transition in. Man,
That's fair.
I'll have to see if we can find another solution. I don't know if we will be able to for something like this, but this is really, really good. Let's see if I can take it back. Is it going to actually listen? There we go. All right. All right. So yeah, if you wanted to talk about this part, definitely let's talk about that for a sec before we get to that inside voice, so I don't have to pause again.
I think it's really, and again, I'm really sorry, but I think a big part of this entire series is going to be me talking about Epic as well. Like I can't.
I am not surprised. You can't separate the two. Yeah.
Something that I'm already noticing, because a lot of these call and responses, Jorge definitely took a lot of inspiration for this, and I love that in both musicals. And this one that I'm also noticing is that when there's crowd work or something like that, if it's the 600 men or here the people on the streets of New York, this this chant turning into a harmonized chant to visualize that there are more people. That's really like a really cool something. And again, I'm very sorry for bringing Epic in. Something I'm noticing is that I must admit that the Alexander Hamilton one has way more storytelling, like straightforward storytelling than Epic has. Because I remember now that I'm watching Alexander Hamilton, I'm thinking like, wow, this is a really interesting story so far, right?
Yeah.
But when I was going through Epic the first time, I was thinking, wow, these songs are really banger. That was my first initial thought, right?
Yeah.
So what I think right now is that I'm gonna be very keen on the story towards this whole Alexander Hamilton thing.
Good.
And then when the story's finished, I'm able to then like, you know what, this is kind of a banger actually. Let me just and then the whole music aspect because this one already like that. When he's calling, he's gonna rise up. Like it's such a cool,
really
such a
good.
cool manner. Yeah.
And well, yeah, I'll talk about that at the end.
When you're living on your knees, you rise up. Tell your brother that he's gotta rise up. Tell your sister that she's gotta rise up. When I these gotta knees,
And the choreography is just so good too. And then
I imagine death so much it feels more like a memory. When's it gonna get me? In my sleep, 7 feet ahead of me. If I see it coming, do I run or do I let it be? Is it like a beat without a melody? See, I never thought I'd live past 20. Where I come from, some get half as many. Ask anybody why we living fast and we laugh. Reach for a flask, we have to make this moment last. That's plenty, scratch that. This is not a moment, it's the movement.
Yeah, you want to share?
Dude, okay, so much things. So I love that the drums here are playing with open hi-hat to signify the noise instead of a closed. So yeah, that's the second. So in the first one, like when one of these colonies gonna rise, the open hi-hat really signifies you can hear the so normally when you have with drums, you're doing like, but here's like this open hi-hat.
Yeah.
And then we move on to like now it's quiet, and then there's this like horseshoe, like almost horse gallop drum, like the like this really like almost royal, like very high. And then we move into where he says scratch that, and then you hear the like
Yup,
an actual
and it brings
scratch.
it right back in.
The percussion element in this is incredible, like so cool, and like because the percussion is so carrying for them, because you have these like the lower end, like you have these like these darker sounding instruments, but other than that you have like really like the intonation on the higher instruments, they're not very like, they don't have a high activity level, so you hear these dum dum dum, and then you have to wait a little, and dum dum dum, like they come in every now and then, but the drums, like the percussion element, is actually the more carrying part of these songs so far, at least, which I think is interesting, but it also makes sense because when you have to do with rapping, most of what you're going to do is going to be the beat, right? So that does make sense.
I love what you absorbed from this already, and we're only 3 songs in. All right, let's take it back. Hopefully it works. There we go.
Ask anybody why we living fast and we laugh, reach for a flask. We have to make this moment last. That's plenty. Scratch that. This is not a moment, it's the movement. We're up hungriest brothers with something to prove. When foes oppose us, we take an honest stand. We roll like Moses, claiming our promised land. And if we win our independence, is that a guarantee of freedom for our descendants? Or will the blood we shed begin an endless cycle of vengeance and death with no defendants? I know the action in the street is exciting, but Jesus, between all the bleeding and fighting, I've been reading and writing. We need to handle our financial situation. Are we a nation of states? What's the state of our nation? A past patiently waiting and passionately smashing every expectation, every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties and sorrow. For the first time I'm thinking past tomorrow.
Okay, dude. First of all, I, like the reason that I smiled is because I didn't know that it was from Hamilton. I have seen a video of Lynn, last name, singing in the subway of I'm not gonna pronounce it. The subway of New York, singing that like I'm past passionately spent like the and it's so funny like at that part because he's just sitting in the subway singing this. Actually, that's one. That's number one. Number 2, I want to talk more about the percussion elements here because
Please do.
So, interesting enough, we had normal like on the on the snare drum we had a normal hit, but here he's actually doing cross stick. So the difference is that you have, instead of just like playing like this, you put it on and you lift it just like so you can hear it, but they've actually mixed in a clap to still have the noise from it, but they still want the cross stick to be a little subtle there, which I think is really cool. And then here when he's like building up to it, it's like do 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 do, like this, just this half step, you know. And we can see, for example, it usually signifies like something's about to happen or there's danger. Like for example, in you know the what's that shark movie called? Jaws.
Oh
There's
yeah,
a
yeah.
and it goes higher. Same here, but here's not really, maybe like I don't know obviously because I don't know the story. Here it just seems like it's like it's building up, and then explosion, everyone's on stage and I'm not throwing away my shot. So maybe not danger here, but it's definitely building up to something in that aspect.
Love that.
You know?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that thought. And then I also just love lyrically, since, you know, that's what I focus on a little bit more. Are we a nation of states? What's the state of our nation? It's just a fun little, it's such a good little, like, it's a line that really they do not spend that much time on. Like, it's a blink and you miss it line, but it's so good. There's so many lines in this show that you just like hear and you're like, oh, that sounded interesting. And then you go back and listen to it and you're like, oh my God, every lyric in this song is, or every lyric in this show is there for a reason.
He's so good at flipping. I don't know if there's probably a term for it, but flipping like ER, we are. And then again, same here happens again, like this, like almost like lyric flipping.
Yes.
Or whatever, you know? It's so good. Yeah.
I know.
Crazy.
Reading and writing, we need to handle our financial situation. Are we a nation of states? What's the state of our nation? A past patiently waiting and passionately smashing.
And bringing back in those heavy hits there.
Act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties and sorrow. For the first time I'm thinking past tomorrow.
And that is where we wrap things up for our first ever day of recording.
Those triplets are so good. Yeah, it's so good. Oh wow. Oh, and I love they have. That's really cool. And I obviously this is probably only visual, but I love that they decided to give them different colored coats because
Yes.
it makes it easier for me to see who's who.
Yep,
Really nice.
absolutely. And then that purple for Aaron Burr, who's notably not on screen on the.
No, because he didn't want to.
He's
take
not
going to
be part of this.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. I am so glad we are doing this. We didn't mention this in the intro because the intro is already way long, but just as a heads up for you guys, it is actually going to be quite a bit of time between this recording and the next recording for two reasons. One, I'm actually recording this before I go out of town. I'm going out of the state for like 2 weeks, so we're recording this for that. But also, we want to be able to upload this and kind of see how YouTube appreciates it, see how like the copyright system, like what we have to do with the audio, if anything, all of that nonsense. So if you are on Patreon watching the unedited access, you're getting this like a month before it comes out, which is amazing, and even more reason that you should join his Patreon and then mine, in that order, but both of them. But jokes aside, that you can sometimes get things like this up to a full month in advance if you are over on the Patreon, but it also means that we're likely, like, a lot of time is going to pass between the end of this video. So definitely when it comes out, hopefully there won't be a lot of time between when this drops on YouTube and when the next one drops, but as far as the behind the scenes recording, it's going to be a bit of time. So if it seems like we don't remember, at least he doesn't remember as much, that might be why. But what I was going to say is, especially because of the time gap, once I get back and we're going to record the next one, I definitely recommend you just go listen to these first 3 songs a couple more times, because not only will it refresh you, but I need you to understand that these first 3 songs introduced, no joke, probably 12 recurring motifs for the rest of this musical.
Oh my god, no.
It's
Not again.
so many. No, and not. I'm not even saying like things that'll be subtle, like the danger motif that you have to like look out for. I'm just saying like there will be more like that. Like the rhyme scheme of Bursar is something that will return. The not throwing away a shot is something that will return. The how does a bastard orphan? So that's something like there's so many things that like this whole musical. It is not one song after the other. It is building a musical pyramid. Each song is built on the last songs, lyrically and musically, in such beautiful ways.
Yeah, I'm still the only because I am still waiting for that the one where, and I'm bringing in Epic again in Puppeteer. Since we left home, we faced it like that, going up here and then moving down there. I'm still waiting for that to come out because
We've got a
so
bit of
far that's
time.
Yeah, so hopefully that comes in one of the songs. Yeah, that's the only. But so far, not at all what I expected it to be. But
Cool.
It's good. Like it's really good so far.
I'm so glad you love it. Well, thank you guys so much for being here and for watching. Let me double check real quick. We will be back for the next video, which for the YouTube people, hopefully won't be very long. We will be back. We will be doing Story of Tonight and Skylar Sisters on my channel, and then Farmer Refuted, and you'll be back on his channel, which, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for Casper to see you'll be back. It's going to be wild.
Ironically, you will be back on my channel.
We will
So
be back,
great.
exactly. You'll be
Awesome.
back on Casper's
So
channel
far,
for You'll Be
yeah.
Back. But yes, the
For
next
sure.
2 sets are going to be 2 songs per, and then it's going to kind of depend on which one. If you want, you can join my Discord. I will be posting this in advance just so people can see what to expect from each video. I've got that whole spreadsheet out there. So you can see if you're really curious how the videos will be split. But it's always going to be, I believe, 1 to 3 songs. And I said, I split them pretty thematically and music lengthwise, so it's going to be all pretty equal and logical. And I think I said there's going to be like 19 videos total when we split them apart, which is going to be awesome.
We'll have to figure out. Yeah, but until then, I want to thank all these lovely names down here on the Patreon. They've been absolutely amazing. Our community has grown so much since Morty has started introducing me to some of these musicals here. We are actually, by the time that this goes out, big chance that I am well into both Has Been Hotel and that, maybe hopefully we have some Act 2 news from Epic that are not too spoilery? I
Mm-hmm.
hope that. I don't know, because this is recorded at the start of June, so
Yes.
we have absolutely no idea what that. But yeah, thank you to the Patreon. Thank you guys so much for, we recently hit 11,000 subscribers on the channel here, which is bonkers, because we've been doing this for like 6 months now. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, thank you all that. And Mortius, thank you so much for introducing me to Hamilton.
Thank you for giving me an excuse to go back through it. And just in case you were wondering, we are currently 13 minutes into a 2 hour and 40-minute show. So we got lots left. We will see you guys next time. Appreciate you all. Good.
Yeah,
Bye,
guys.
everybody. Peace.
Bye.